Throughout my Japanese learning journey, one part of my routine that I've grown quite fond of is sentence mining. Sentence mining, in its simplest form, is the act of taking vocab from your immersion and making flashcards out of them. What goes on that card can vary quite a bit, and that's part of the fun of sentence mining to me. It can be something as simple as a word and a definition to media-rich cards containing sentences, relevant pictures, and audio clips. The process can be quite beneficial, since every card created has an experience tied to it, which can be very helpful in memorizing new vocab you see in immersion. In addition, by essentially curating your cards from content that you're immersing in, you're going to be studying the words that are most relevant to you. While not essential, I personally find sentence mining one of the most beneficial and easy supplements to learning Japanese, which is why I do it. This all might sound great, but a lot of people are faced with confusion after this point. Tons of questions come to mind like, when do you start mining? How do you mine? And what's the best way to mine? Unfortunately, like learning Japanese in general, there aren't really any concrete answers that can be given to these, but there are some considerations you can take when trying to find your own answers. For when to start mining, most guides recommend you start after learning some foundational grammar and vocab. I followed the refold method at the time that I started, so I began sentence mining after I learned my first 1000 words. Really though, you can start whenever you want. Just keep in mind that it may become overwhelming balancing new words from both a starter deck and sentence mining. In terms of how to mine and the best way to mine, I'd say that the best way to do it is to just do whatever is easiest for you. There are many methods that range from manually copy and pasting words into the Anki card creator to near instant semi-automatic methods like Migaku and the method that I use. Most semi-automatic methods rely on Yomi-chan to get things like definitions, sentences, and other stuff over into an Anki card, and then some other program like ShareX, MPVacious, or asbplayer to capture the audio and picture for the card. The method that I use is a combination of JP Mining Note and asbplayer, which produces cards that look like this. I personally enjoy the note type a lot for its flexibility, and also because I think it just looks really good. You can choose between either vocab or sentence cards, and even hybrids like hover cards and click cards. I'm going to be going over my workflow with this note type, but if you don't really vibe with it, then I recommend you check out the alternatives that are on the JP Mining Note site. As for setting up the note type, I highly recommend that you go to the website yourself and go through the setup guide all the way to the end of the Yomi-chan section. It's incredibly in-depth and walks you through pretty much everything you need from scratch, with the only actual prerequisites being Anki and the Anki Connect add-on. I've chosen not to go through it step by step here because, frankly, the instructions are so good that I feel like it would just be redundant. Once you get to the end of the Yomi-chan section, the next steps can vary quite a bit depending on the different methods, and I'll walk you through the steps you need to take for my setup. After getting through the initial setup, any cards you make should look like this. It looks good, but it doesn't have a screenshot or a sentence audio, which are quite nice to have. This is where asbplayer comes in. asbplayer is a browser-based media player and Chrome extension that helps with sentence mining from videos. It works on local videos, which is what I mostly use it for, but also has support for various streaming sites like YouTube, Netflix, and others. You might also notice that your colors aren't the same as what I have in my other videos, but I'll go over that after covering the setup of the mining process. First, I want to cover the general setup of asbplayer, and then I'll go over the workflow for local files and then streaming sites. So to set up asbplayer, all you need to do is go to the asbplayer site and change some of the settings to match the note type. The important fields to look out for are deck, note type, the sentence field, the audio field, and the image field. Clicking the drop-down menu on the right side of each field gives you the various fields that the note type has, and you just need to match them accordingly like this. I also recommend limiting the image height to some number and leaving the max width at 0. I have mine set to 480, which means that most screenshots will end up at 480p. Now I'm going to go over the steps for local files. So if you want to mine from local files, you need at least two things, that being whatever video you want to mine, and then the accompanying subtitle file. Getting the local video file can be accomplished in a variety of ways, but I can't really go too deeply into it here. I would instead like to point out that the Moe Way is a fantastic guide to learning Japanese, and they have an amazing resources page. It's also important to note that Microsoft Edge is probably the best browser to use for this, and that if you use Chrome, to stray away from media that has audio encoded in AC3. In terms of getting the subtitle file, the best place to get them is at Kitsuneko. The anime card site has a good page detailing getting the subtitle files and dealing with potentially missed time subs too, so I highly recommend you check that out, link in the description. Once you have these two files, it's now just a matter of dragging and dropping them into asbplayer. When you come across a word you want to mine, you can just create the card with Yomi-chan and then press Ctrl-Shift-U. And that's pretty much it. You can click the little book icon to bring up the card you created and check that everything's all good. If you want to do something like get multiple subtitle lines, you can also press Ctrl-Shift-X to open the export dialog, where you can adjust the time frame that's being selected and then hit update last card to finish it. Mining from streaming video is slightly different but mostly the same. One difference is that obviously you don't need to conveniently have the media locally. You also need the asbplayer extension, and the download and instructions for it are on the GitHub, link also in description. Depending on where you're streaming from, you may or may not need need to provide your own subtitles. Sites like Netflix and some YouTube videos have Japanese closed captioning. In this case, all you need to do is hit Ctrl-Shift-F to bring up the subtitle selection dialog and then pick the appropriate track. From there, you can just mine as usual like in the local files method. But if you're watching something on a site that does not have Japanese subtitles, like Crunchyroll, you'll need to provide your own. Once you have the subtitle file, you need to then drag it into asbplayer and press the little camera button on the bottom right. This will give you a list of videos that are currently being streamed. Select the one you're watching, and if you go back to the video, you'll see that asbplayer now puts subtitles on it. The mining process after this is the exact same as the prior methods. So now that you have the setup complete, you might want to do some tweaks to make your setup suit to your own needs. For example, the default card type is a vocab card, which has the target word on the front and then everything else on the back. Some people prefer to use sentence cards, which has the entire sentence on the front and the tested words definition on the back. Picking which card type to use is completely up to personal preference. If you'd rather have sentence cards or any other card type, all you need to do is put something in the various card type fields. You can also do this in the Yomi-chan settings by clicking Configure Anki card format and filling in the field for whichever one you like. There are also some aesthetic changes you can make to your card. They're covered on the site, but if you want to get colors like mine, you just need to press Ctrl-Shift-N on Anki, select JP Mining Note, and press Cards. Then go to the styling section. Keep in mind that if you edit this file directly, you will lose your changes if you update the note type, but I'm lazy so I still do it anyway. All you need to do here is change the accent property under .night mode to this color, and then change the background color property under .card.night mode to this color. And then finally, you just need to hit save, like the video, and subscribe.